This is Anwar Kabir. I am working as the CEO of Brand Spectrums. Brand Spectrum is one of the leading digital marketing and PR companies in Pakistan. And thank you so much, Fahad, for giving me the opportunity to come and speak to early stage entrepreneurs who are part of this cohort. And I'm really excited to, take you through some very interesting and important concepts of marketing and PR, which I hope will help you not only understand these very fascinating aspects of marketing and PR, but also you can relate to your own business and connect back these concepts in your own business and develop your own marketing and PR strategies. Because as an entrepreneur, especially early stage entrepreneur, standing out in so much crowd and in so much noise, it is a very important thing to do. So without taking more time, I'll dive deep into this the some of the slides that I have developed for you guys. If there are any questions, it would be great that you guys because I want this to be a dialogue kind of an opportunity. So it will be great that you guys ask questions along the way, and in the end as well, I've kept around 20-30 minutes for question and answers. So and you can share any proposition or any challenge that you're facing in terms of your specific, and we can use that as an example and talk about these concepts, and then make things more understandable for everyone. So as I mentioned, that today's topic is marketing and PR for early stage entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurship is a very tough and challenging task. We all know that, and you need a lot of grit, you need a lot of energy, you need a lot of resilience to be able to cope with all kind of challenges that will come your way. But it's the passion, it's your energy, it's your drive that keeps you going. And if you understand some of these interesting aspects of marketing and PR, I can assure you that you will face a lot of ease in terms of strongly establishing your brand name, your company's name in the mind of your potential target customers. So we'll move to the next slide. Yeah, so a lot of people get confused that, what is the difference between marketing and PR? And it's a very interesting, question that a lot of people ask and talk about. So marketing is basically it's the process of identifying customer needs and determining how best to serve your customer. Advertising, on the other hand, is when you are promoting your product and services, and many a times this is a paid activity. So that's the difference. I'll take you through some very interesting aspects of marketing, and then you will better able to understand that how marketing and advertising differentiate, or promotion, which we call more commonly. What is PR? PR is basically, we know that it means public relations, but it also means positive reputation. So how you enable that ecosystem where your positive reputation kind of, gets built up in the society in a very authentic way. And it's not only that you are talking great things about yourself, it's about the whole ecosystem talking in such great way. For example, if you are doing a business or taking off your company, you would like to be known as a thought leader. Let's say you have developed an app to sell healthy foods in the market. So you would like your let's say magazines and blogs and other platforms, maybe TV in your case, to talk about your work and your efforts that you are doing and the company that you are running. So PR is making use of those opportunities and platforms, which include press releases, interviews, getting published in blogs, appearing in TV channels, using influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is again very interesting phenomena, which helps magically in terms of organically building your word of mouth and your brand's presence. And third aspect which I talk about is branding and positioning. So you got to come up with interesting brand proposition. what your brand stands for, what's the purpose of this brand, and then you got to position it in the right target segment. You say that, okay, we call it, sometimes it is socio-economic classification, sometimes it's psychographic, sometimes it's other marketing needs. For example, you say that I've, again, using the same example of developing an app for of healthy foods, which you say that your customer at the comfort of their home can order food while using that app. So you would like to position it as, as an offering which kind of helps people avail healthy food options and opportunities. So healthy food or health and lifestyle are the you can say areas on which you would like to build your brand story. So that's how you would need to figure out those that context or that environment where you will build your brand, and then you need to kind of start building your brand story around the offering that you are coming up with. If there are any questions, please do feel free to ask, because that will help other class fellows understand these concepts better. So I have taught marketing strategy for many years at LUMS to executive MBA and MBA students. So if I give you a gist of the marketing strategy pillars, so we say that there are 4 P's and 5 C's in marketing, which kind of cover the key strategic frameworks of any marketing effort that you would see. So when we talk about 4 P's, this covers product. Product means, let's say, again, talking about that app, your product is the healthy food that you are selling to your customers. Pricing, what kind of pricing you think you should charge? Should it be too high? Should it be like relatively lower so you can reach a bigger number of people? You want it to be a very niche product, or you want it to be lower and reach out to lot many people. So pricing is an interesting discussion, product is an interesting discussion. Promotions, how will you sell your product, how will you promote your product? Advertising is also covered in this area, and also PR, and also all kind of promotional activities and efforts that you undertake to to build the brand, and then finally is place. Where are you going to sell this? For example, if it is in Pakistan, you are probably taking off in Lahore. You can say that, okay, I'll start with Lahore, then we'll go Karachi, then Islamabad. You can say, no, I will go, and there will maybe businesses which say that we want to go global. So then global market is your marketplace. So these 4 facets, which include product, price, promotion, and place, really help you define and crystallize your thoughts on how you're building your brand strategy, marketing strategy. And all these facets can take one day each on all these to figure out that what best to do, what strategies to build and use to effectively launch your product. And if it is already launched, how to kind of keep on consolidating your position. There is a very interesting concept in marketing, and they call it purchase funnel. For early stage, and purchase funnel is like a funnel which kind of is broader on the top and kind of is narrowed down towards the down. You just need to Google it, and you will know what I'm trying to say. And it starts with building awareness of your brand or your product. Then consideration. Consideration is that, okay, somebody has heard of your product name, but they have never thought of using it before. But now that they've seen your communication, now they are kind of saying that, okay, I may like to explore it. And then third one is called trial. Then somebody goes out and uses the product. That's trial. And that's a lot of brands, early stage brands, struggle with the first 2 pillars, and that is creating awareness and building consideration. So your company will also be facing these challenges like other early stage startups, because not many people will be aware of your product. So that's the first. And for awareness and consideration, you would need to work on different strategies. Let's say if it's a mature brand, if it's a mature market, and they are working on, let's say, building loyalty, their strategies will be completely different. So for awareness and consideration and trial, your strategies will be different. Um, and then we come to five C's of marketing, which is customer, company, competitors, collaborators, and context. I'll explain each one of them in next 2-3 minutes. Customer is obviously the customer that you are trying to you sell your product to. Again, you have to define your customer. If it's a niche product, then you would need to kind of, let's say it's a premium product that you're selling. So you would need to understand the mindset of your customer, and you would need to engage with them in the environment where they are comfortable with. Let's say it's a high-end premium product, then you would say that, okay, again, that food app that I was talking about, and say that per food will cost, let's say 5,000 or 10,000 rupees. So then you need to create a very, very, high-end premium kind of customer experience journey, so that they kind of relate to what you are, you selling. Company is your own company. How your company is created, how your company is known to the market, that's something which also gets covered in this aspect. Competitors, you always need to be very, very, watchful of what your competitors are doing. And a good company, a good early stage startup is that who understands the competitive landscape, and then kind of picks his or her opportunity very clearly. And there is something which a very dear friend of mine, again, a great marketeer, said to me, every individual and every company needs to find out what unfair advantage that you have that you can bring on table, or competitive advantage. So that's something which you really, really need to spend a lot of time in. Why should somebody come and work with you? You got to be very clear about that and try to build on that. Try to build on your strength. You always need collaborators, your partners. You need to build an ecosystem where you would be able to get the support and market your product. So that comes in collaborators. And finally is the context. Context is the environment. I talked about it earlier as well. So context needs to be very, very clearly understood. And then also your strategies need to be aligned to make the best use of the context and the environment in which you are operating. So together, these 4 Ps and 5 Cs provide a comprehensive framework to all of us to apply our marketing strategy. I just wanted to give you this theoretical background because I understand that not all of you would be exposed to marketing and PR related concepts. So I thought that it may be a good idea to spend 5 minutes here. Now we'll get straight to some of the tools that you as early stage startups would need to use or apply to successfully market your business. Social media marketing. This is again, using these social media channels to reach new audience and build relationship with your existing or potential customers, using platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Some companies will find LinkedIn very, very relevant, and Twitter. You need to figure out that where your customer is, where your stakeholders are, and then you kind of build on these platforms. And social media marketing is very, very essential. You cannot just live without it if you are to launch or run a successful business. And there are I'm here in Canada these days. I just am attending a conference, and I got an opportunity to engage with some global leaders who talked about social media strategies. So there is a lot of focus on videos. Short form videos are used to generate awareness, to generate a lot of buzz. TikTok, in many cases, is very, very relevant to create that buzz. So short form videos are usually less than 60 seconds. Long form videos are more than that, many times 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you need to kind of figure out a balance. I'm especially spending 2-3 minutes on video formats because video is becoming a very, very important pillar in your social media marketing. So short form and long form videos I talked about. Many people don't take TikTok seriously, but I think many early stage startups will find TikTok and Instagram very, very relevant to sell your product. Whatever you are selling, these are the two pillars that you need to be very, use very effectively. If you are a B2B company, I think B2B companies will find magical, results using LinkedIn, because that's where you reach your corporate customers. One small thing that I want to just share with you, and that is When we were doing MBA 10, 12 years, 15 years ago, they used to teach that, the purpose of a company is to create shareholders value. Now that debate has changed. Now they say that the purpose of a company is to create stakeholders values. So you also have to build a purposeful brand. You also have to make an effort that your brand is not there in the market and known to be just out there to make money. Money is very important. We all want to be successful, but your brand should have a purposeful context as well. There should be some story, some aspect, some effort which kind of focuses on doing and contributing towards the society and the stakeholders that that with which you are working. So contributing towards society, and that's where this term comes: purposeful branding, purposeful marketing. So purposeful marketing is something, it's a very important concept and thought. You need to keep that in mind. Content marketing, I have talked a little about it already in terms of the kind of content that you need to build. Video format is one. Then blogs, you write 1 minute, 2 minute blogs that talk about what, again, on LinkedIn this is very relevant and very interesting. But also this also helps you build, you need to drive traffic towards your website. So these pillars, this content marketing or social media marketing or email marketing or other efforts or lead generation, eventually help you drive traffic towards your website. Website is your main strategic asset which you own. So you need to have a good, strong, solid website where you are kind of, sharing all these blogs, maybe videos, and trying to bring traffic towards your website through this ecosystem that you have developed through social media. A market segmentation, again, is focusing on and building on those segments that you have identified. And let's say if you are selling to mid-tier segment or a high-end segment or low segment, your strategies will be different. You sometimes will play with price, sometimes you'll play with some promotional activity, sometimes you'll play with the packaging of your product. So all these levers are available to marketeers for them to figure out their presence in the market and be relevant. Basically, it's the game of relevance. You need to stay relevant in the market that you're operating in, and that's how you will, and you need to stand out. I will share with you a very interesting thing. So I teach marketing, digital marketing at LUMS, and I invited a very known global company CEO to our class, and it shared a very interesting insight. He said that we scroll up on our Instagram or Facebook timeline every day to the size of, or maybe to you, he compared it with the size of Statue of Liberty, which I think is 90 meter or something. That's the kind of that's the amount of screen scrolling that we do every day. So that also means that every ad that you will put out for your company may get maybe 1 second attention. If it is not interesting, nobody's going to stay there. So it's also a reported fact that we get exposed to around 40,000 ads or content pieces in a day, including online, including offline, including while we are on. So there is a lot of noise, there is a lot of traffic, there is a lot of clutter. In all this noise, in all this clutter, you have to find your relevance and your presence. So that's what a good marketeer would focus on, by staying true to his or her product, by staying true to his or her customers, and trying to come up with a proposition in a very, very interesting way that it is relevant. Here we also are talking about lead generation. Lead generation is a very, very, very important aspect of digital marketing, where you use your campaigns to develop and give you leads of your customers. So you can do lead generation campaigns on Facebook, you can do that on LinkedIn, and you would get very, very good quality leads if you set up your marketing efforts right and use the marketing tools correctly. And that also kind of, when you talk, and it is important that the moment that lead comes, within a day or 2 or 3, you should get back to that person whose number or his email has gotten to you through these efforts. You should not delay it. So that because the person who punched in his or her email address or phone number or whatever may forget that they sent you this query. So try to get back on lead generation sooner than later. PR for early stage startups, there are three areas which you need to be watchful of. So PR is a very, very broad landscape in which some very interesting concepts, starting from building thought leadership. Thought leadership is that you come across as somebody who knows more than others, who is seen by the society as somebody who's an expert in that particular area. So, for example, again, going back to that healthy food app that I talked about. So let's say if I'm the founder of a healthy food app, I would like that my company or I be known as somebody or an organization which knows its work very well. So that's where thought leadership comes in, and for that you need to engage with media. You need to make sure that sometime you appear in electronic media, sometime you appear in print media, sometime you appear in blogs, sometime you have these vlogs and podcasts which are out there, you are present there. So slowly and gradually your brand is built, and you are known as somebody who knows that more than others, and who is a thought leader, who is ahead of the curve. So that's what you do, and for that you need to constantly engage with these blogs. For example, in Pakistan, many startups would like to, let's say, engage with pro Pakistani or startup. These are very known blogs there. Or let's say, depending on what product you are offering, or you would like your interview to be published in Sunday magazine, or your product to be featured in paparazzi or wherever, or Dawn or Business Recorder. So you would need to clearly identify the media where you are relevant, and that's where you will then pitch to these media channels or these publishers or these journalists that, here I am with this very interesting proposition, and I would like you to cover me or talk about me. It's not an easy process. Many a times PR companies step in to help you kind of navigate through this situation, but you can do it yourself as well. Influencer marketing I talked earlier about as well. Influencer marketing is also a very, very key pillar of any PR effort these days. So when you use influencers, for example, you are selling a product for baby food, and you want to talk to mommies, and you want mommies to be aware that this baby product is out there. So you would talk to mommy influencers. You would go and try to get a placement in these mommy groups. Or maybe your product is about traveling. You would like to figure out where those travel influencers are, and where those blogs are, where all these people who are interested in traveling come and consume content. So that's an environment where you would engage with these influencers. Sometimes you give them your product to try, and then they put up a free post or Instagram story or reel or TikTok. But mostly if they are known individuals, mostly if they are sought after kind of individuals or influencers, they charge. And then again, you need to also figure out that what kind of influencer you want. Is it a nano influencer or a micro influencer or a mega influencer or a celebrity? So for early stage startup, I would say maybe a medium sized or a nano or micro influencer would be an interesting point to start with, that will keep your cost in check, and also get you the right mileage which is required in some of the cases that are here. Crisis communication is also a very, very serious aspect of managing your PR, so on social media or on things can go wrong any moment for your brand or for your organization on social media. A responsible company is one which is prepared to handle or tackle any such crisis which may come. So large organizations usually do a very rigorous exercise, training their individuals on how to respond back. Because whenever a crisis comes, let's say somebody has given a bad review on your product, and then there are five others who jumped in and said that, yeah, they are very bad, they've done this to me and that to me. So how will you respond back to them? So being authentic is very important. Maybe some of your staff may have done something which may have kind of not been a good experience for your customer. So sometimes accepting your fault, coming out clean, and making an apology and trying to kind of salvage that situation may be a good strategy to cope with a crisis like that. So there are different kind of crises that may come across by any company, and the companies usually spend a great deal of time figuring out those possible situations and scenarios and building those strategies and responses which they will, because your readiness differentiate your, the extent to which you would manage any crisis successfully. Social media marketing. Social media marketing, I talked about it earlier, but now it kind of talks about three areas in this slide, which I have made for you guys. One is understanding your audience. So as I mentioned, if you are selling to teens, or if you are selling to mothers, or if you are selling to traveling enthusiasts, or if you are selling to corporate customers, you would need to understand your audience. You would need to know where my audience goes, and how I can be relevant in those environments and those contexts, so that they are open to listening to my brand message and engage with me. Creating engaging content. I mentioned to you earlier that any given day, there is so much clutter, there is so much noise. Nobody will spend even a second on your communication, on your blog post, on your social media post, if it is not interesting and if it is not relevant. So you need to come up with interesting ways. Sometimes people engage with agencies, but I would understand that an early stage entrepreneur would need to do this himself or herself. So you would need to understand your product really, really well, then figure out creative ways to kind of, write interesting copies, or maybe do a little video yourself on what your brand or product is all about. Video content really, really works very well. So try to do more of it and you will get desired results. And third point is measuring your impact. Let's say you have made an effort, you have put up 15 posts in a month, you have spent, let's say, 50,000 rupees or whatever amount of money on your campaign. You need to understand and figure out that how your campaign has performed, what results it has achieved, whether it is successful or not. So there must always be some KPI to track. So usually Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, any social media platform you talk about, or any platform for that matter, they would give you very clear, matrices which you can kind of set up campaigns in the beginning, that okay, this is how success will look like. So any campaign, when you start, you must know in your mind what success means to me in this campaign. So you will then move forward accordingly. And the best thing about digital marketing is that you can always, realign or twist your campaign if, let's say, desired results are not coming in, or let's say if the very good results are coming in, then you would, let's say, maybe put in more money or put in more effort in that direction. So on digital, you would know instantly or immediately, how your efforts are working on or building upon. Content marketing, I've talked about this already, blogging and video marketing. So I'll refer back to one very interesting session that I attended just 2 days back. And they said that blogging, and we don't take it seriously, especially in Pakistan, that, you talk about blogs, you talk about, you write your own blogs. Small blogs, 1 minute read, 2 minutes read, 3 minutes read, that talk about your brand, and that brings in a lot of seriousness and that a lot of clarity with respect to people understanding your product. Video marketing is very, very, very important. As I mentioned, this is the time of video content. You need to create, and again, you don't need to spend a lot of money in the kind of hiring an agency. You can do a video made using your iPhone or your mobile phone or whatever, and you do that. And then there are tools available online which you can use yourself. You should spend a little time yourself to make small videos yourself. Email marketing is also very, very interesting. Not many people take it seriously, or not many people think that it works effectively. But the research has proven that it is at least 10 times, the effectiveness is 10 times compared to many other mediums. So you must kind of build a directory or a database of your potential and existing customers, and maybe once or twice in a month, or maybe depending on the frequency that you want, you keep sending updates about your, and make it more, I would say, what should I say, more dynamic content need to be there, so that your customer can engage with it and maybe click on some of the posts or some of the content and then come straight to your website where all the fun is happening, where all the activity is happening. So again, through all these platforms and efforts, what you are trying to do is create that ecosystem where your customers get to know about your products, where you understand their needs, and where there is that magic happening where customer is getting interested in buying your product. And again, as I mentioned, you got to develop goals and metrics. Any campaign you start with, you have to have clear goals and matrices. Web analytics are there. People use pixels to track the journey of their customers. That's also something which you must be aware of. You can do all the Google research, and you can find very interesting videos on each of these, uh, aspects that I've talked about. So you need to be aware what tools are available to you for you to effectively engage with your customer, track them, track their consumer journey. And also, I want to also spend a minute on, let's say you have been successful in bringing your customer to your website. Then you also need to track that, whether he or she completed their journey and kind of bought or made a purchase decision while on your site or not, or they kind of left the website after, let's say, spending 30 seconds or 40 seconds or a minute. So these pixels enable you to track customer journey on your website. And if something is going well, you would know of that. If something is not going well, you would also be aware of that, and then you should try to. So again, marketing these days, especially digital marketing these days, is constantly reinventing and improving your work, so that kind of, and all these platforms and efforts, so that you are able to kind of come across as somebody who is out there serving customers in a very, very, you know easy to be used manner. That's what is very important. Feedback, again, figure out ways to get feedback. For example, TripAdvisor, if it's a hotel or if it's a restaurant or if it's a travel related thing, or even Google feedback or Google. So you would need to spend a lot of time on the reviews your customer is giving to you, and then you need to make sure that you are constantly improving. A lot of businesses, a lot of companies work really, really hard to get, let's say, 5-star rating or 4-star rating. And if you get 1 or 2 bad reviews, then that's a bad news. So this ecosystem helps you to remain on your toes and constantly improve yourself, your product, so that, because customer feedback gives this impression to the overall ecosystem and environment that you guys are authentic, you guys are doing great work. I'm sure many of you may have tried Airbnb and anything and everything that we use. We do check the reviews on that product or on that service before engaging with that party. So work on your the feedback, and work on kind of making use of that opportunity to effectively sell your product. So with this, I complete my presentation. I've tried to cover key concepts of marketing and also some of the key levers in PR that you can use as an early stage startup. And I hope that if you guys work on this, you will definitely find these concepts and these levers very, very important and relevant for your business. So with this, now I end my presentation, and now I'm open to question and answers. So do we have any questions? Is there anybody there?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can unmute and ask questions, or they can type.
Yeah. So customer feedback testimony is also important. Yes, that's a very valid comment. Then there is another, shed more light on using TikTok and Instagram for B2B startups. Again, as I mentioned to you, TikTok is magical. It's just magical. The kind of impressions and engagements and reach that you get on TikTok is just mind-boggling. And it's like, and we started off with this thing that maybe only a certain class or certain kind of people are on TikTok. That's not true. A lot of youngsters use it a lot. A lot of companies use TikTok a lot to engage with their customers. So you must be very, very active on TikTok. And globally, there is a lot of focus on how this is helping businesses grow. Instagram as well. Instagram and TikTok usually are used for B2C. But for B2B as well, I think if you feel the relevant Instagram, so there is a very large B2B customer of ours, and they're very they one of their program where they want applications for for support. They run campaigns on Instagram and they get very good results. So I would say that you have to have a clarity of mind that what exactly is the purpose that you need to serve when you use these platforms. But they TikTok and Instagram for online engagement and getting online sales is very interesting. And also there is another concept which also I would like to spend 1 minute on, and that is affiliate marketing. So one is influencer marketing. I talked to you about. Affiliate marketing is you engage with these influencers, let's say TikTokers or Instagram influencers or whatever, and you kind of, they sell your product, and you say that, okay, you sell my product. Somebody comes from a website and let's say uses a unique code, and if that sale happens, we will give you this much commission. So that is also picking up quite well. That's also where this conversation and discussion on social commerce coming in, using social media to sell your products. So affiliate marketing and social commerce are also two interesting aspects that you need to be aware of. I'm using all these words. The video will be there. You must Google some of these terms and words and jargons that I've used. They will open, very interesting, very fascinating aspects of this fast developing marketing landscape and the world that we live in. So yeah. So this is the question that I've read, and then what's better, animation or live? Yeah, sometimes so animation and live people both work very well. So let's say if you are trying to explain a certain process, maybe an animation video would be a good option. Let's say sometimes you want to talk about the offerings and details, maybe a video format would be good. So you need to use a mix of both, I would say. There is no right or wrong answer, but videos generally perform in a much more stronger way. So put your focus on that. Do less of static posts and more of videos. That's the rule of thumb that you need to keep in mind. So I think I've covered all the questions that I've mentioned here. If there are any other questions, Acha ji, how to hire a PR firm? So I will be very honest with you. Can you share marketing plan template? Marketing plan template. Let me figure out if I can find somebody. We usually have very customized plans that we develop, but I will suggest to you that you also look up on Google, and you will definitely find these templates and all. I'll also check in my records. If we have something relevant, we will share with you. And how to hire a PR firm? There are quite a few of them in Pakistan. My company also does PR. There are a lot of others as well, but I really doubted that early stage startups would be able to spend that kind of although it's not very expensive, but still I know people are very cost conscious when they start their business. So I would recommend that you do that effort in the beginning, at least yourself, and then when you have established yourself a bit, then you spare. So because any good PR firm will charge you maybe 200 to 300,000 rupees, whatever small business you have or whatever. That's the minimum kind of cost that they will charge. So I don't really believe that any early stage startup may be able to talk more about a product or a story. Yes, you need to do that. How do I communicate differently to my competitor? So yeah, this is a very interesting, as I mentioned to you, figure out what is the unique or selling proposition that you have. What is the unfair advantage or competitive advantage that you have to figure out. As again, that example of healthy food app that I gave. So there may be many apps out there which are selling food, but healthy food is something which there may not be many apps or many online selling platforms. So you can say that, okay, this is what differentiates me. So you got to do that. Was the right time for a startup to spend budget on paid marketing? You again, although I said it earlier that you may not be able to spend a lot of money, but you have to spend money on your marketing from day one. Some very interesting things which I would like to say. When I was starting my business 6 years ago, I got this advice and I really followed it. And that was, your first 12 months are critical for the, for your business to take off. Otherwise, businesses, 90% of the businesses just die within 1 or 2 years. So that's the time when you put your maximum possible, best possible efforts. And that's the time, whatever money that you can, keep aside for these budgets, paid campaigns, you need to, but you need to be very, when you have lesser money, when you are short on money, you got to be more prudent in terms of using which one, where to spend money. Maybe develop a good website, run these, pages yourself, dependent on time, what time you have. What's the right time for a startup to, yeah, how long we can go organic? Yeah, if as long as that you feel that you didn't talk about, yes, SEO is very, very important. And also, one very interesting thing is that I talked about PR. So let's say you are a company and you have a lot of third-party platforms that are talking, saying great things about you. Your SEO will also start improving. So PR also, not many people are aware, but PR is also very, very powerful way to improve your SEO. So you do that, and at the same time, definitely, you need to work on improving your SEO so that you come higher on the on search whenever it is done. Well, please shed more light on using, yeah, that's what I've done. How do I communicate different to my customer? Do we talk more about our product or our story? Yes, you need to talk about that. But it's not only talking all the time about yourself. It's always wiser to talk about the problem that you are out there to solve, because people are not there to listen to your story. They are there to listen how somebody out there can solve their problem. So you need to tweak or build your story in such a way that their problem, they feel that their problem will get solved when they work with you. Do you think a startup must have to invest a seed level when building team and develop? Again, every startup has their own journey. Every startup has their own requirements. Every startup has their own. So there is no right or wrong answer. I did not. I borrowed money from somebody when I took off, and I returned the money after a few years. Some people would say that, okay, I want a seed investment or whatever. So everybody has their own. How to hire a PR firm? What questions to ask? Can you share? I've already. Thank you for. Okay. Very challenging to sell services on social media. Is a particular thing that I can do to improve our sales. Can you talk a little about it? What exactly are the problems that you're facing? Uzma, do you want to say something about it? Anyhow, we will move on. So, Khair, so again, as I mentioned to you, are you guys with me? Are you guys there? Can you listen to me? Because Fahad, are you there?
Yeah, we can hear. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
other
Great.
people
Great.
can also
Great. Okay.
unmute.
Okay, fine. As long as, so yeah, so selling services generally is very, very difficult because I'm also in the services. It's very competitive. It's very tough. And it's not just social media. Just example, take my example. I'm running digital marketing and PR company and friends. So if I was just doing, my own social media campaign or lead generation campaigns, I can tell you I would never have been successful. You need to go out in the market. You need to stand out. You need to stand for something. You need to actively engage with that word hustle, which is very, very important. And that's what differentiates an entrepreneur from others. An entrepreneur is on a hustle, doing hustle all the time, making an effort, trying to get the needle moving, be showing up on these events and occasions and opportunities. So look at me, I'm here, across the world, come here in Toronto to attend this conference. The idea is to find my customer here, find the digital marketing or influencer marketing or website development or other app development efforts that we're doing, my customer in this market. So I'm here in person, spending last 8 days showing up at least 10 different events to forge those ties, to build that relationship or initiate that conversation, which then eventually leads toward a relationship of trust. So an entrepreneur or a founder has a lot on his or her shoulders. You just can't say that I'm just doing, especially more so for a service firm, because here they are dealing with you as an individual, as much as that they're dealing with you as a company. So they need to know more who you are, what you stand for, Are you trustworthy? That's how these, and you need to show up yourself along with, and that's also part of marketing, by the way. So we are providing free legal aid to needy women. The higher identity do not agree to record a video. The female lawyers who provide them help are also at security risk from opposite parties and certain extremely relevant society. Is this area how we can do effective social media marketing of our, so maybe you can cover their face, or maybe you can and get their testimonials be recorded, or maybe there are different ways to. This is more of a creative question, that how you can creatively, because testimonial will give you authenticity, but you can do your campaign in such a way that you. So we did a campaign for a Center for Human Rights. It was a women rights related campaign that we did, and I remember that we used we did photography. We also faced the same challenge that the actual individuals were not. We did photography, we used some low cost models or whatever you call it, and then we used that in a way that that message get conveyed. I think it was around, if I can recall correctly, it was around Jahez and all those things that, no, it was about nikah, that you got to read your nikah document fully and properly before signing it, because it has a lot of rights that it offers to women. So that was the campaign, and I think we were able to cope with this in that way. I have seen multiple videos hiding faces and names. Yeah, you can do that. Thank you for the. I'm working on an ad tech project that targets parents as customers but students as consumers. How can we ensure that our marketing appeals to both? Yeah, I think students and parents both would need to be engaged, and you would need to again do webinars, probably go to some schools and colleges, and I don't know, be in those places where these students are, and be in those places where these parents are, and run these campaigns. You need to punch in the target audience, and Facebook will create a lookalike audience, and they will show your campaign directly to parents or directly to these students, so you can reach them very, very effectively and do your job quite well on social media. I don't see any problem in that. We have spent money on marketing, but it's very clear and informative webinar. Thanks. Most welcome, G. Are there any podcasts or radio material you recommend to? So again, this is a world and age of self-learning. I will highly recommend you to, whatever words, jargons, terms, concepts that I used, you look them up on Google, you look them up on, then there are very, very fascinating courses available on Coursera. Some of them may be very relevant to you. Then there is a thing called Facebook Blueprint or Google Garage. These are very small, 10-15 minutes short courses, I would say, or short sessions. Let's say Facebook Blueprint, you go, it will tell you what kind of posts you can make to kind of make it stand out on Instagram or Facebook. So I encourage everybody who is interested in developing effective social media campaigns to make use of these free opportunities and platforms that are available. Yes, I will share the deck with you, Fahad. I'll email it to you, and then you can share it with the class. Can you please unmute myself? Uzma said, please unmute me. But I think now, Uzma, we have moved on. I have answered that question. We can hear you. Attendees invite you. Sir, we are providing free. I think I've already answered that. You can create a story, the message through animatic. Yes. Now, this is a time of generative AI. Do some research on that. Again, I forgot to talk about this chat GPT. A lot of companies, even large scale companies, big companies, medium sized companies, and for that matter, I will highly encourage you, all of you, the early stage startup entrepreneurs, to use chat GPT to create content. Seek ideas. There were a lot of questions here asking me about ideas. How can we do this? How can we do that? Seek ideas from chat GPT. There are tools freely available, artificial intelligence tools or whatever opportunities available, which can help you create interesting, content pieces, do a lot of stuff. So it's a world of self-learning. You don't need 10 people to come and, get the needle moving for you. You can do it all by yourself. The only thing is keep that flame alive in you, that, that pushes you to learn. Every day in your life should be about learning something new. And this internet is an opportunity. It's a great equalizer. It has brought third world countries like ours to given us an opportunity to stand right next to people who are working and doing something here in the first world countries. So you make the use of this equalizer which is there.
Partners are club, right?
Is there any question? I'm sorry, there was some voice, but I can't really clearly hear that. Can you tell us more about your challenges of marketing services in your experience? So as an entrepreneur, as long as your business is running, the challenges are not gonna be lesser. Every stage of entrepreneurship is full of, but that's the drive of it. There are not many people in this world who can write their own paycheck. Everybody finds their own motivation to be an entrepreneur. There are people out there who want to make a difference in this world, who want to change the status quo, who want to change how things are done and do it differently. Whatever motivation you find, I'm telling you, if you are successful and you need something to get right, and then you will take off. But be ready. I think there won't come a day when you won't have challenges. When your company will grow, you will have staff challenges. When your company will grow, you will have large customers. Their requirements and expectations will also keep on evolving. They would expect more. They would expect you to bring in more technology, more interesting facets, and you would need to have that need to be ahead of the curve. You would need to have that urge to learn more, contribute more, and keep on reinventing yourself or your proposition. But entrepreneurial journey, once you have tasted it, uh, then it's not easy to do anything else. The entrepreneurship is just amazing. It's very fulfilling. I run a relatively a smaller company, but it gives me a lot of satisfaction. We have around 25 employees. We have around a couple of many a times in a month we are paying to around 100 to 200 service providers, bloggers, influencers, third party platforms. So these are the kind of small scale or medium scale entrepreneurial ventures which create more job opportunities. So you also need to, because if there is one way you can keep on moving in this challenging environment where you're working so hard and results are not coming in, you need to find your purpose, why you are doing this business. If you find that purpose and you stay true to it, then you can overcome these challenges. Otherwise, it's not easy. That's the reason you look at these stats. First year, 2 years, 5 years, 80-90% businesses die down everywhere in the world. They just don't survive because the challenges are, because they are not making any money. There is nobody supporting in our society. Everybody is kind of, you have to cope with all kind of possible challenges that one can think of. So there has to be grit, there has to be passion, there has to be motivation that, okay, I am out there to make a difference, and whatever happens, I will overcome this. That's what keeps you going, and sky is the limit for achievers and doers in this world. How much budget we should allocate to marketing for an edtech? Again, no right or wrong answer. You first need to crystallize your thought and proposition, and budgets and funds. I've seen, if you have a valid business proposition, if you have a good idea, people like Fahad, people like organizations like Park Launch, many other platforms will help you facilitate and seek funds. So I think more than money is very important. You first need to crystallize your thoughts on what problem you are going to solve and how passionate you are in resolving that. Your own profile, your own grit, your own passion, what you stand for, it's also very important along with the problem that you are resolving. So I don't think I have missed any question. Is there any other question that I may have missed, or something you would like me to talk about? So I think I've covered all the questions that I've read. Guys, Fahad, please advise.
No, I think this is great. I think if you can just share the deck, and then
Yes.
maybe, I think you're on the same group as some of these entrepreneurs. So if they have
Yeah.
any questions, they can maybe post there, and I can come to you, or they can come directly to you. And
Yeah. Most welcome. I'm always there to help. I'm always there to support whichever way. Any advice that anybody wants, feel free to reach out to me. I will be back in Pakistan on 11th, so my time zone difference and all will be sorted then. So after that, if there is any piece of advice you want, you can always let me know. And I really hope that this 1 hour talk gave some inspiration, some guidance, and also some subject matter knowledge to you guys, which some of you may find useful. So wishing you very best. You are the future of our nation, all of you who are here, and we have great hopes from you. You define who we will be as a nation. So a lot of best wishes for you. Our all support will be with you, and anything that I or we all could do in whichever way to you for you guys, that will be a pleasure. Good luck, very best wishes. Take care of yourself.